As a display owner of the AW3425DW, I couldn't be happier to see the successor, the AW3425DW, land on my desk. In fact, I requested to unbox this one specifically as soon as I saw the press release, because guess what? It's 240 hertz. And the best part, unlike the original model that retailed at $1299, this one is $799. It's $800. You're getting 240 hertz, 3440 by 1440p resolution in a roughly 34-inch ultra-wide display, but now it's faster, it's a little more color accurate, and it's so much cheaper. Let's see what we get in the box. We've got the new stand from Alienware that I am head over heels in love with. We've got the other part of our stand. It's absolutely beautiful. I just love how little of a footprint this thing has on your desk, even though the square footage on it is probably bigger because it's not those two big legs poking out. It's just easier to put somewhere. I also just love the blue. That's a big problem for some people. You know, if it's not black or white, it's not gonna match everything, but I'm a big blue fan, and so this one really does it for me. What else do we got in here? We've got our C13 power cable, HDMI 2.1, because that's right, unlike the previous version that only had 2.0, this one's got full 2.1 HDMI spec. And we've also got a USB-B cable for connecting to our computer, as well as finally our DisplayPort cable. One other minor complaint, it doesn't have DP 2.1, it is still DP 1.4. However, it's got a really cool feature where you can actually turn DSC on or off if you really want to. We'll get to that later. And then we also got this little box here. It's probably just got, yeah, some monitor cleaning cloth stuff. Be careful, these things are delicate, and you definitely only want to use distilled water. Be careful. You do it all, you know, put it in, click, clack, pull it out of the box. 34-inch ultra-wide is like, it's such a great size. It's still really easy to handle. It's not super heavy, and it still just gives you so much monitor real estate. And at 34 inches, 1440p ultra-wide, you're still getting about 110 ppi, which is totally usable. Honestly, even sub 100 is okay, but you really want to be over 100 for that nice clarity. Our little film here has been taken off and put back on because it's been tested. I'm gonna take it off again so you don't have to see these boobles. It's like Rice Krispies. And I've done the thing I always forget to do with these curved displays. I want to keep it on the little stand so I can take a look at the I/O, because unfortunately, unlike a flat display, I can't just put this on the table. So one moment, please. As for I/O, we've got our power connection here, and then a couple of HDMI 2.1 ports, DisplayPort, and our USB-B port. And then below, what we're actually missing out on a little bit here is a lack of USB-A ports. But where you lose a couple of USB-A ports, they give you USB-C. Take it or leave it. I would rather have the USB-C. The only unfortunate thing about this is that the power delivery on it caps out at 15 watts. So if you're the kind of person who wants to like park a laptop and have it charge while you use it with the monitor, it's not gonna have enough juice for that. Sorry, you're gonna have to get your power adapter. Click, clack, extract. Look at one-handed. I love large displays, they're great, but they're heavy. They're so hard to install yourself. As for the stand's capability, we've got some swivel, we've got height adjustment, you know, it can go up and down with some tilt, and then I've heard that it can pivot ever so slightly to the point where we're not calling it pivot. Oh yeah, it can, wow, okay. So you're not gonna go full 90 degrees or anything, but let's say for whatever reason this thing isn't level, you can just actually adjust it ever so slightly. It's also got some pretty good cable management, nice and big open hole here to stick all your cables in. We're just gonna plug some cables in and then game on it, but not before a word from our sponsor.
Thanks to Secretlab for sponsoring this video. Support your back and tush during those long work or gaming sessions with a Titan Evo. Unlike most other gaming chairs on the market, it's specifically engineered to keep your posture in an ergonomically correct position, contouring to your unique body shape with adjustments and features such as 4-way lumbar support, armrests that adjust in 4 dimensions, and a sculpted pebble and seat base, and even different upholstery options. Pick up one today at lmg.gg/secretlabsc or by clicking our link down in the description.
Just turned it on and I'm welcomed to a like please select language thing. Tells me my service tag. I got a factory color report that is not here. Oh, there it is. Okay, not really though. It just tells me that it'll tell me all of these things, which I can find somewhere. So that's cool though, that it'll tell you in the OSD as you boot it up. Select yes to enable USB charging, absolutely. Let me just look through the OSD here. It looks pretty standard. They've sharpened it up a little bit. PIP! If you're one of the dozens of people who use PIP or PBP, aka picture-in-picture or picture-by-picture, on the regular, now it can do it. I'm pretty sure the original model could not do PIP, and I don't use it, but hey, I love it when I have got features that I'll never use, but I can brag about having. Pixel refresh, factory reset, self-diagnosis, screen test. Oh, sick. This does come with a 3-year warranty that covers image retention, by the way. But if you're ever worried about it and you think you're driving it too hard and you maybe want to see if you should do a panel refresh or anything like that, you can just pop a gray slide on here and look around for it. And you can also cycle through a bunch of different colors just to make sure it's all good to go. They've even got this little test pattern on here. You might be sensitive to color fringing on text. This is a good spot to check for that. It's a Gen 2 panel, so I don't think they had the big text upgrade with these ones, but I was never really sensitive to color fringing in the first place. A lot of people aren't, so take that as you will, and if it works out for you, it works out for you. If it doesn't, well, you know, maybe you just don't read a lot of text on this thing, because it is primarily a gaming monitor. Looks pretty good just out of the box, but we're gonna go up to our 240 hertz. I did plug in through HDMI 2.1 for 2 reasons. 1, our graphics card supports it, and 2, 2.1 is a little bit higher bandwidth than DisplayPort 1.4. But you know, you might as well just get that little bit extra gigabit per second. And we're gonna turn HDR on, 10-bit color, baby, 465 nits. That's because we're probably in True Black 400 mode, and I don't want to be in that because I like 1000 nits. I like my eyes to be seared. HDR 1000 was actually one of our more color accurate modes as well. We'll get to testing and everything later on, but this thing's really good. That's all I'm gonna say for now. It's really good. I love the panel health indicator as well. I don't think that's new, but it's a nice feature. I really like it. Bada bing, bada boom, HDR Peak 1000. One thing that is still missing, Dell, please, Alienware, please, put speakers on this thing. I get that you've got like the lowest price out of everyone coming out with these monitors, but I just want some cheap speakers that I can use if I can't have headphones or anything. So let's go. What the f is this search results on YouTube? Tung Sahur's morning routine. Our HDR footage on a QD-OLED display. It looks stunning every time. There's Andrew there, standing proudly by the cabin, whatever that thing may be. I love it. All the colors just pop beautifully, and the vibrancy per pixel, mind you, because it's OLED, so each pixel is self-emissive, and so that's how you've got this like proper full black, and then a bunch of color here. It's really hard to explain this without having multiple like HDR versions of displays in front of me to be like, there's that one, there's that one, there's this one. But when you've got OLED with self-emissive pixels, it just is incredible. You're not gonna get the bloom that mini LEDs got, and you're not gonna get these weird like columns that some edge lit displays end up having with their like 6-zone HDR garbage. I recommended this monitor already to a friend of mine, so Zach, if you're watching this video, I hope you're watching it on your brand new AW3425DW, because it's good. But I know HDR footage looks good on this thing. What I wanna know is that 240 hertz refresh rate and lightning fast pixel response time, how's it gonna game? So let's pop our camera into 60 FPS, pop this up to 240 hertz, and play some video games. I gotta say, it looks great. We tested display latency and we got 2.4 milliseconds, which is 0.3 over perfect. So, you know, it's pretty good. It's pretty fast. We've also tested, just in case you're playing consoles, you wanna hook up a PS5 to this thing, especially with that HDMI 2.1 port. We measured also very close to perfect, or theoretical perfect at least. It's wild. Like, you know, I remember thinking, oh, I'll never need anything more than 140 hertz or 120 hertz. And then you start playing like 240 hertz on the regular and you're like, man, I get it now. And I bet you, you know, in a few more years, I'll be like, yeah, 360 hertz is where it's at. How did I ever deal with 240 hertz? It feels like garbage. And it's from any angle too. Like, that's a huge thing about QD-OLEDs, is that the viewing angles are absolutely wild. Like, you can be at just about any point in the room and it's still gonna look good. The 1800R curvature, I still kind of wish Alienware would just make these things flat. At 1800R, it's like hardly anything, and so it's, I don't know, is it even worth curving it? I'm not sure. But I would like to see either a more aggressive curve or just take it out completely at this point. As for all the syncs, it's G-Sync compatible, it's got FreeSync Premium Pro, and it's even got VESA's Adaptive Sync. The embargo for this was yesterday, and there's already one or two people out there who have them, and there's a Reddit post about a guy who hears a bunch of coil whine on his. I never heard any coil whine on my original one. The only coil whine I hear is the one coming from our GPU, and so if you can hear it, that sucks, and you should probably try to return it or something, because coil whine is annoying and you shouldn't have to deal with it on a regular basis. I'm really hoping that was just a guy who got a weird unit. It does happen, you know, not all of these units are going to be perfect. As for text fringing, let's take a look and see if we can still see it. We should be able to. This should basically be the same subpixel layout as the Gen 1 version, but you know, you might as well just take a little looky-poo, see if we can notice anything. I got a big notepad file on here. I got a bunch of text on it, and I'll be honest, I can see it if I look really closely, but it's not something that jumps out at me. What's more noticeable, frankly, especially now that I'm used to a higher PPI monitor, is the lack of PPI. I'm not gonna do a whole DSC evaluation thing. I just wanna like turn the setting on and off and take a look and see if it's easy at all. So let's try to find it in our OSD. Display, DSC, on, turn it off. As for color accuracy in SDR, we were a little worried at first because we measured an average of 4. In Delta E ITP, in Delta E 2000, we got an average of like 0.8. So this thing is just great in SDR color accuracy. And then as for HDR color accuracy, I think we did measure something like 5.6 average Delta E ITP for peak 1000 mode, which is still very good. It's just the same thing from a couple of years ago, but better in basically every single way, including the price. Yeah, you might sacrifice some USB ports, and I'm sure there's something out there that someone is gonna be like, oh, well, what about this? How did you forget this? I don't care, this thing is great. It's such a good monitor at such a good price, and I think that if you want an ultra wide, that you're not gonna worry too much about when it comes to like image retention and stuff, because it has a ton of built-in safety features, like a big graphite layer. It's so good. If this isn't exactly the one for you, don't worry. I'm sure that later this year we'll get more and more Gen 2 34-inch ultra wides coming out with QD-OLED panels. You might not get every single feature that you're looking for in the exact monitor that you want, but they will have a bunch of different options. Like maybe they've got more power on the USB port for charging, or you know, maybe there's a flat one or whatever. But as for me, I love the blue stand. I don't mind the 1800R curvature, and I just want it first, and I want it cheap, because at $800, my gosh, it's an incredible gaming monitor. That's still, you know, don't get me wrong, it's still like a high price, but a few years ago, this thing would have been thousands. So I think when it comes to gaming and display nerds, we're eating good right now.